When the boundaries of the United States were solidified through the English Treaty of 1818 and the Spanish Treaty of 1819, many believed that the nation had reached the limits of its territorial expansion. Few Americans entertained the notion of acquiring Canada or Mexico, and even fewer envisioned the United States stretching beyond the Rocky Mountains. This sense of completion influenced national policies. These efforts underscored the belief that the United States was a mature and stable entity with its external borders firmly set. The westward migration of settlers and the creation of new states posed a significant challenge to this sense of stability. However, the coexistence of white communities and Native American tribes within these boundaries was fraught with tension. Historically, white settlers demanded the removal of indigenous populations, and the new states were no exception. With the boundaries of the United States fixed and new states like Arkansas and Michigan on the horizon, the available lands for native relocation were shrinking. He recognized the continuous displacement of tribes as one of the greatest injustices inflicted upon them and proposed a bold solution: to establish a permanent home for native tribes west of Missouri and Arkansas. Calhoun's report, submitted to Congress in January 1825, recommended acquiring a sufficient tract of land west of the Mississippi River to establish permanent settlements for the tribes, ensuring their security and fostering their progress toward improvement and civilization. Monroe endorsed Calhoun's recommendations, urging Congress to enact legislation to establish a permanent Indian frontier. Congress responded favorably, and for the next 15 years, successive administrations, Adams, Jackson, and Van Buren, upheld this policy. The Indian Intercourse Act of 1834 formalized these efforts, establishing the Indian country as a legal entity and prohibiting unauthorized white settlement within its borders. The process of relocating Eastern tribes was far more contentious. Many tribes resisted, leading to protracted negotiations and, in some cases, violent conflict. The Supreme Court, the Cherokee were ultimately forced to relocate along the infamous Trail of Tears. By 1841, the eastern margin of the Indian frontier stretched from the Red River in the south to Green Bay in the north, forming a solid barrier to westward expansion. The Indian frontier policy reflected the belief that the United States was complete and that its western boundary would remain fixed.